Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Higher Caliber Podcast. I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. We're here with Dustin and Don again for the third year, so we're cooking, boys.
Yeah, that's it.
So, third annual.
Yeah,
third annual.
Is this the third year?
Third year.
Holy shit!
I
And
think
it's the same time because it keeps popping up on my
We try
feed.
to do it like every November. It seemed like
Right.
We're like, hey, you just want to do it again? Yeah, and we always have a fun time. So
yeah, it's always a good time.
welcome back, boys.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
yeah,
And we got 4 cameras now, so
Dude,
nice.
I don't even know where my camera is yet. It's kind of
it's over there.
Right.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool. This is new for sure. It looks
Yeah.
good. I like it. I like
Thanks.
the setup.
I'm thinking about putting some retro posters in here. I don't watch basketball at all, but for some reason I want like a Chicago Bulls poster in here.
Yeah, you got to have Jordan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I mean.
He's the goat.
He's the GOAT.
I don't
Yeah.
care what
you,
anybody
you got
says.
the black and red theme going already, so
Right,
you're good
yeah.
to go.
Yeah, looks good.
You like the Bulls?
I like the Bulls. I was going to say
Yeah.
Michael Jordan better come out of somebody's mouth because if it's LeBou,
No, we don't do that.
we're out.
No,
we don't
yeah,
do
it's, yeah.
Okay,
They'll
Yeah.
just get up and walk out.
we're good. We're all good. Yeah, I mean they made an entire movie about how he changed the shoe industry.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think that says most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin,
times.
the last time we talked to you, you
Yeah, man.
were rolling out the training, and
Yep.
then you just went balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And
MTC, right?
MTC, Mowery Tactical Concepts. Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
So how was it this last year, man?
This year's been good, actually. Of course, wintertime, it's Ohio. So
Yeah.
it's always kind of,
You really only get like 8 months.
yeah, you get a few months, but spring we kicked it off and I did a couple of indoor classes over in the Lima area, just 1-day classes, super easy. Had several guys come into the class, all pistol stuff. And then I think what was it? We did one this spring,
This
maybe
spring,
somewhere with you guys.
Over in Lucas, yeah.
Yep, over in Lucas. So we
That
did
was
that
fun.
one. That was a good time. That was right
Mhm.
before, it was May, right? Was that
Yeah, it sounds
end
right.
of May, first part of June?
Yeah.
So we were there, and I've done a couple of vehicle classes for some law enforcement guys. That's been good. Just did a class 2 weeks ago for CQB with Matt Pranka from X-Ray Alpha. I was his AI,
Cool.
one of his AIs. So yeah, it's been a good year, man. We've had a lot of fun and trying to fill up the books for next year. Looks like we're going to.
Are you busier than you thought you were going to be right off the rip, or is that about how busy you wanted to be?
It was about right. So I pretty much had a class every month, at least had one. August was the only time frame I didn't have any. So then everything else just kind of started kicking off. And a lot of them were, conversations with guys on phone and talking about what they would want either for their team or their department or
Mhm.
individual training or something like that. But it was about what I thought it was going to be. But this coming year in 26, I definitely want to kick it up a notch. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don over here, you attended a few of them, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I attended one of the Lima classes. That was a good one. And it was interesting because like an old buddy of mine from my first agency was there as well. Just randomly, he's like, "Oh, I saw your post. I thought I'd come," which was really cool because he's maybe 2 years from retirement.
Yeah.
And came out because his agency had just recently gone to Red Dots and he wanted to get some better training. And he's like, "Man, one day it's not that far of a drive. It was an inexpensive class. Let's go try it out."
Yeah.
So that was really good. Took another one of your 1-day classes here in Mansfield.
Yes.
Was that one? Yeah, that one
Yeah,
was here in
that was in
Mansfield. And then took the vehicle instructor class, which was a really, really good class as well. I mean, I was a little disappointed in the turnout because I was trying to push it really hard because I wanted as many local guys as possible. And it was me, 3 Mansfield City guys, and then everybody else was the Northeast, I believe.
Yes.
They were all like Euclid, Elyria, that area
Saying
up
the
there.
Mansfield guys weren't about that life, or
The 3 guys that were there were definitely they were in.
Yeah.
They were locked in. They were definitely listening to what was being said and taking notes and everything. But none of the other agencies wanted to send people. And I don't know if it was cost, ammo, time. I mean, that was a 4-day class.
Yeah.
I don't know what the issues were. I'm going to start talking to some of the chiefs and training lieutenants in the area and get that one.
I'm sure the 4
that one
days
figured
is
out.
probably a big part of it because it's
Yeah.
hard enough to get people at 2 days, but you probably cannot teach that in 2 days.
No,
I
you
mean,
can't.
4
It's-
days probably isn't enough for you, I would assume.
It just barely is.
Yeah.
I would like to do a 5th day, but then the cost obviously is going to go up. But yeah, 4 days is like the absolute limit because one of the nights we have a night shoot, which is a lot of fun because most guys don't get a chance to do that, especially around the vehicles. But yeah, I mean, it's a good time and I think a lot of the times too it is the cost, because it's not a cheap class, but it's not a crazy amount. You know what I mean? Like
for what you get out of it.
For what you get out of it.
Yeah. For what the market is right now for a 4-day training class, it was definitely inexpensive.
Yeah.
You know, compared to guys that are like, hey, we're going to charge $300 a day for 4 days. It wasn't that at all.
Right.
And, you know, ammo wasn't bad. I mean, we probably could have burned through more.
Right.
Even with a small class, but kind of one of the things when Jared and I were talking that I wanted to get to is we spent a lot of time on range prep and safety of the range. And talking to some of the guys in the class in between shooting, lunches, things like that, they kind of noticed that as well. You know, you don't go to an instructor level class and think that's what you're going to do a lot of talking about, but especially in that class, it's a fundamental part of it. You have to. And I was telling you guys beforehand, one of the big aspects is on a large open range with a lot of movement. One of the big difficulties is I can stand at position A and right in front of me is a good shoot target. Now I'm going to go all the way across to a different firing position. I better not be calling out that same target, because now I'm at an angle where it's not safe to shoot at that target.
Yeah.
And so for that class, especially because you've got your shooter, whether it be 1 or 2, then you've got your safety, 1 for each shooter. Then you've got your caller. And, you know, like you were saying, it's a game of chess. If you're the caller, you're not focusing on where they're shooting. You're focusing on 2 more targets down the road, so you can push them to where you want them to go. And easily could have had a 5th day just to get the reps on learning how to push. Because for me, it felt like on that 4th day, I finally got into a groove that I was like, all right, cool. I got this. And then it's like, hey, we're done. Oh, well, crap. Okay.
Yeah.
And the night shoot, I haven't done a night shoot since we were in the military. And even then we had NVGs and green lasers, and it was like you could hip shoot everything and hit all your targets. So that for me was really cool, and learning how to use the flashlight and do all that. But yeah, easily that could have been a 5-day class. Yeah. Even your 1-day classes, knowing I've done a lot of the little bits and pieces that you choose, that you pick for that class, those could have easily been 2-day classes.
Right.
You know, but again, it's that time factor, because when you're in a management position, you have to figure, okay, if I'm sending an officer to that class, not only is it the officer, the cost for the officer, the cost for the ammo, now I need to make sure that spot's filled where he's at. So, you know, breaking it down into a 1-day class or a 4-day class. But yeah, they were all really good. Even though I've trained with you a bunch over the last 4 years, I still always pick up something new, something different. Whether that's because I can focus on the stuff I didn't really focus on the last time, or it's new information. But yeah, the big one for me was making sure the range is safe and how to keep it safe, especially for that type of class when you're dealing with a bunch of people that you've never shot with before.
Oh yeah.
And just keeping it safe.
Has it changed at all since you first started teaching it? Have you kind of?
Yeah. So when I originally wrote the material, we had it set a certain way, and then we started running it, and then we started seeing things happening in the class of like, okay, this is just not a one-off. This was a reoccurring theme. So then we started changing it. And honestly, how we present a lot of the things changes every single year, and as classes should, right? Like I should not be running the same classes for pistol or carbine or whatever, CQB or whatever. It shouldn't be the same as next year. Like I should be still learning and developing. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to do now. This is how I'm changing in the way that I'm presenting information, and I'm saying it differently. So guys, you know, because Don will call and go, hey, I didn't quite understand that. I'm using Don because he's here, right? But, you know, I didn't understand this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, that makes me think about, all right, how am I presenting the material to people? You know, so it's definitely changed. And the big thing when I wrote that class and put it all together in 2017 was I wanted to develop a class that as myself, as an instructor, I would want to attend.
Yeah, that's got to be huge.
And it was huge. And I saw all of these gaps. And I'd been to a bunch of other instructor classes in law enforcement and, you know, been around and taken that stuff or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, where are their gaps? And one of the things was the kind of the range setup and how do we do those things and why? What's the purpose in doing this? So that's why we hit on that so much. And then because I've taught that class enough, and some guys are like, by the second day, they're like, dude, this isn't that big a deal. I'm like, oh, okay. And then we get into day 3 and we do the night shoot. And usually we have one person in class that's, always like, okay, this is really important. Like, I didn't think it was until you explained this and we did this. And then you start adding in more people and then you change the dynamics of how things are set up on the range with vehicles. And most guys, by the first day when we go live fire, they're pretty good when they're running by themselves until we add the second guy. And you can see everybody get that fucking pucker factor of like, oh, wait a minute, I got to do this with another dude over here. I'm like, man, no more running Han Solo. Like, this is you and a partner. And then once that happens, you kind of see the light bulb click of like, all right, we have to have this safety built in. And we just kind of layer that and we just kind of let them crawl, walk, run principle. And they did a great job in a class. The class progressed exactly as it should. You'll see this natural progression going through the class. But again, it could easily be 5 days to where they, even after the 5th day, they could walk away and be like, okay, right, that's a lot of information, so.
Yeah. And there was a lot of, I don't know if development is the right word, but like we'd be split into groups and, hey, tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, I want you to find me this type of traffic stop. I want you to find me this type of situation. And then we were supposed to find those. Each group had a different one. And then we were supposed to build a range off of that type of stop.
That's cool.
So it wasn't just, okay, we've got these 5 targets out there. We've got these 2 cars and go. It was like, no, this is an ambush or this is they jump out of the vehicle. Cause of course I don't have my notes. I can't remember what they're called, but it's this type of stop. How are we running that drill? So your guys have a purpose behind running that drill.
Yeah. And I'm sure seeing that for the officers that haven't been involved with that is like, oh, this really happened. Like that could easily be me.
Right. And the other thing that we try to do is we try to prevent them from creating Rolodex training. Right. So meaning, oh, I've seen this happen. So I go through my Rolodex. Oh, I've seen that. I pull this out. Okay. I run this. No. We're trying to show you something that can work in all these different elements, or situations to where it's not like, oh, well, I would only do this here. Again, Rolodex training. We don't want to do that because that takes time for guys to go through in their mind. You want them to be like, nope. Okay. I've done this. I've experienced this. Yeah, okay. Now we're just moving and that works over here. And how many times do we have that conversation? Like, wait, that's the same exact thing we did on day 1. And I'm like, right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. That's the purpose. You know what I mean? It's like CQB. CQB should not be difficult. It's not, and it should actually look very boring. Yeah. When you're doing it right, and that's the one thing we talked about a couple weeks ago in the class was like, it should look very boring.
Yeah. And I think we talked about it the last time we talked, but yeah, I always hear that the special forces community, the reason they're better is because they do the basics so much compared to they're the best at the basics. Like they can do it in their sleep. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And also I would say that one of the things we talked about a couple weeks ago was every time you're getting a run and you're doing something, just work on being technically perfect. Just be technically perfect every single time. So now by the time I have to do this for real, I know what technically perfect looks like, feels like, and I just do that. I'm like, oh, I'm in the right spot. Or I'm here on the car. My gun was already up. I was ready to shoot because I did it so many times, just walking through it and then moving through it. And then, we did it for real. We were running and gunning. Oh, okay. There have been many times that I've had guys call me after they've been through the vehicle class, either with their agency or with me. And they've called and said, hey man, that saved my life. Like, here's what happened. I was involved in this incident. Here's what I did, blah, 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 blah. And I was able to either get on the bad guy sooner. He wasn't able to put rounds on me, but my gun was up. So it didn't turn into a gunfight. It was more preventative than it was actually getting into the situation, Yeah. And I've had a bunch of those. And it's very interesting to listen to what those guys are saying about their situations, so just be technically perfect, right? In training. Yes, it should be boring. You should be bored out of your mind. Martial artists know this. I've been in martial arts since I was a kid. And I was just talking to a really good friend of mine on the way up here. He's like, yeah, it should be boring. It's like when we're doing kata or, whatever you call that, right? It's extremely boring. Like you're standing there doing that by yourself. you're building that discipline. It's the same concept. You know what I mean? So,
and this is the instructor course?
yes. Yeah. The vehicle class is the instructor course.
Okay.
It's 4 days. I don't teach the vehicle class to civilians.
Right.
But yeah, it's a 4-day class. I've ran a 2-day version of it.
But that's pretty fast paced.
It's extremely fast paced to the point that the guys in the class are so overloaded. They're like,
yeah.
I need another 2 days. And I'm like, well, that's called the instructor class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even
Yeah.
in the instructor class, Don, right? Like you're just like you said, man, that 5th day would be nice.
So is the first couple of days how you would run the regular?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's all ground up instructor.
Yeah. It's from like when you started teaching at what, 10?
Yeah.
On the day one? Like they're teaching very early on. Because my whole thing is like, and we've all been to these instructor style classes, right? Like you sit there for 4 days in a class, or you're on the range, you're doing whatever you're doing. You got 4 days of this, and then there's no real teaching. And then you go home, and now you're the expertist of whatever this is.
Right. Yeah.
And you're expected to come back to your agency, but nobody's ever talked
It's
about
like the Army's 40-day or 40-hour course.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And they give you all this information, but you've never taught it.
Right.
Like, and then you're like, I have questions.
Right.
Well, sorry,
Yeah.
but you have the material. There's a difference between having the material and ownership,
For sure.
right? And I want to give these guys the opportunity of starting. They don't own it by the time they leave in 4 days. That's impossible.
Right.
But they see the path,
Yeah.
and they go, oh, okay. And then they're having the opportunity, like, they're setting everything up, and I'm like, okay, set that up. Let's see what it looks like. And they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. If you set it up, I didn't.
Yeah.
You tell me where the problems are. Where do you think there's
They
going to
actually
be?
have to think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's that starts day one.
Yeah.
Like we're in the classroom. Classes always start at 8:00. And on day one, it takes a little bit longer. We have some PowerPoint stuff to get through and some good conversations about training and LCDs and a bunch of other
What's
stuff.
LCD?
Lowest common denominators.
Oh, okay.
So we talk about why we shouldn't train to that level of people. And then we kind of go through that. And then once we get onto the range and they're starting to shoot and we do a bunch of stuff, they are teaching very early in the class. And then in the afternoon, when we start really getting around the vehicles moving, by later that day, I'm like, okay, run that again. Now you coach it. Okay, now you're the safety. Okay, now you call. And then we just keep running and running and running until they're just like, wow, there's way more to this than what I thought. You know what I mean?
And not a lot of breaks, because it's you were either shooting or you were a safety or you were a caller.
Yeah.
And
Especially in a small class.
Yeah. And if you weren't doing one of those things, you were off with the shooter. I mean, we were critiquing each other.
Yes.
Right.
And there takes a little bit of humility in that, in the aspect of I kind of knew one of the other agency guys. The other ones, never knew any of them. I knew that you had previously knew a couple of them.
I love classes like that because it's already ego driven because you're all cops.
Yeah,
So like
right.
you have to take criticism from.
Yeah, exactly. And, they knew nothing about me, so it's like we go out there and you critique them, and then you were there, and then Josh was there as well to kind of give that guide of, like Josh was always like, okay, you gave them some negatives. Now we need to give some positives as well. Tell them what they did well. Tell them what they did good. Tell them what they can build upon. So it's not all negative, because we've all been to classes. I remember one of the first classes you guys took with your dad where it was just Captain Negativity.
Not ideal.
Yes.
Because
Sorry, Larry.
you walk away from that class feeling like, and I've been to tons of those where you walk away feeling horrible, like I'm never going to amount. I'm not going to do
I
this.
had a good reaction to that though, because it was like I need to get my shit together.
And
but
there was
people-
no. There's the other element that's missing is the coaching aspect.
There's
Yes.
this is how you get your shit together.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, and Don's heard me say this a bunch of times. And when I teach classes, especially instructor level classes, I'm like, listen, if I'm yelling at you, you've really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
And I can tell from taking your class,
Right.
like if you're getting yelled at, you're doing something wrong, like
really
unsafe.
bad. Super unsafe. Like you're pointing a gun in my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Unload that fucker and you're leaving.
Yeah.
Right. Because I explain to guys, I'm like, again, writing that class specifically, I'm like, nobody likes to be yelled at. We're all adults. We've all been through, basic police academy where it was somewhat, militaristic or whatever, or your former mill. So the former mill guys, I was not in the military, but you guys are all used to getting knife hand. I think we're all past that. Like, let's move on and let's have adult conversations. And sometimes it's, I'm like, hey man, you really screwed that up. Okay. You made a mistake. What did you do wrong? And I tell guys in the class, I'm like, listen, we're going to be muzzle aware the whole time. Okay. If I crank one off into a car, okay, we're going to talk about this. All right. You have 2 NDs in a class, you're done. I'm like, is that fair? And everybody says, yeah, that's pretty fair.
Seems pretty fair.
Yeah. I'm like, then everybody says that. They're like, man, that's pretty fair.
Because one, going down range, it's like you're moving.
Right.
Your heart rate's 150.
Yes.
But 2.
Right.
Yeah. You should be slowing down, thinking a little bit more.
Yeah.
I will say with the yelling, though, there's a difference between yelling in a belittling fashion.
Right.
And like we had one in that class. I had a new freaking pair of gloves on. They were a smidge bit too big.
Yeah.
And so when I went to do my reload, I dropped the slide down. I put my gun up, magazine falls straight to the ground. And I'm like, shit. And of course, in the background, I can hear, oh, that's great.
Right.
That's how we do things now.
That's
There's that, but that's more of a stress inducer.
Yeah. 100%.
I can remember another training we did before where I was trying to get through chains in a door and I can hear somebody screaming in the background. People are dying. What are you doing? Just take your time.
Right.
Call the fire department.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
There is a difference though. And I don't want people listening or watching thinking that we're like, oh, never raise your voice. There's a difference between stress induction. But at the same point, you knew me well enough that you know that I'm fine with people yelling at me like that. That's fine.
Right.
But we are also, I think that was probably closer to the end of day 1. So we
if
had
there was
already
nobody
been in the
yelling
class.
at me, I'd be like, did everybody leave or something?
Yeah.
Everybody gone?
I'm not, no one cares about me. They don't care if I do well. Thanks. But there is a difference between that stress induction and everything's done and I'm just using this moment to scream at you so everyone in the class knows I'm in charge. There's a big difference.
Yeah, and I'm not into that. You know what I mean? And even running the class, like, and Don talked about it, like I tell guys in the class, there's 2 breaks. There's lunch break and then we're done for the day. That's the breaks. That alone is enough stress to put on guys like, oh, fuck, man, we're serious. Like
we're locked
training.
in.
Yeah, we are training the entire time. When we walk away from lunch, cool, go get something to eat, decompress, get your mags ready to go or whatever. Yeah. But other than that, like we're out here training.
And I can always tell when it's a good class when either on that day 1 or a day 2, when you're like, all right, everybody be back by 12. And it's like 11:35, 11:45, and guys are setting up the range because we don't want to waste that time.
Right.
That's a good class compared to, I'll call it
everybody
Opata classes where it's like be back at 12 and guys are moseying in at 11:59.
Right.
Yeah. Good class, guys are like, I want to get my money's worth. Yeah. Let's get out there and shoot. And that's what it was like every day. Most of the guys just kind of hung out there in our little rocker chairs and ate lunch. And then we just started cleaning up and setting up ready to go.
Do you ever find guys in the class that are technically awesome at shooting and moving and doing everything, but they can't teach?
Yes. Yes.
Is that like prominent or is it just?
It's not that prominent. It used to be, I think, with the guys that were in the 90s, they were used to being taught and or teaching a certain way, but you're definitely seeing that is going away, if almost gone, to where guys are seeing like, oh, this is how I should be as an instructor, getting away from a lot of the other bad ideas and things and again, I would also say like this newer generation of officers that are coming in, like they definitely do not like that, so we as instructors have to change
they
the
don't
way
like
that we're doing things.
What, like by the numbers.
Yes.
Like,
right. By the numbers sometimes, and you have to do that at certain times with certain situations or whatever, but they also don't like getting the screamed out. They want to know why. Okay, why are we doing this? They're very much more into cops in general are why people, and I'm sure fire guys are the same way. You guys are, well, why are we doing that? Right. So you, as an instructor, you have to have your shit together a little bit and you have to have answers. And I tell people every time I teach any class, I'm like, listen, I don't have all the answers. If you ask me a question, I go, no idea. But I'll call somebody that I believe has that answer and call them, phone a friend.
I'll figure it out for you.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. And
instead of just making some shit up.
Yeah, I will not bullshit people. I hate that because again, as cops, and I'm sure fire guys the same way, like you can see when somebody's bullshitting. You're like, yeah, that meter just pegged. I went to full bullshit mode right off the rip. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. Yep. And then you're done as an instructor.
Right.
Then in my world, like, or in my eyes, like if I catch an instructor bullshitting me, I'm like,
all credibility's gone.
Yep, I'm done. I'll go to the opposite end of the range. I'm going to shoot the drill when he explains it. I'm not going to ask any more questions. You know, yeah. So good stuff though.
So with that and talking about, you know, how different generations, what kind of trends, like with you were talking about, I know you've been down to Georgia, you go out to the West Coast all the time.
Yep.
What kind of trends are you seeing, or what kind of shift are you seeing either regionally or, you know, are you seeing like I know in Ohio, a lot of guys are getting away from the state training and they're going to guys like you, companies like you. Is that kind of what you're seeing around? I know you've said before, there's some states that are extremely proactive in what they're teaching in academies. So like what are you seeing nationally and how that's going?
Yeah. I'm definitely seeing a swing to more practical shooting ideas and how that is working, and they're seeing results because you can get on YouTube and you can find it. It's super easy to find now, right? Depending on where you are in the country, like the Southwest is very, very, very proactive. Texas, Arizona, California, those guys are extremely proactive. Northwest, Washington State, I was out there earlier this year. Those guys are very proactive. I was out in the Yakima area. Very, very proactive on a lot of those types of things. Ohio itself is starting to change because more cops are shooting practical shooting. Again, just talking about the shooting piece, they're getting more involved in it. And then it's now you can start to see that active shooter training or CQB or SWAT or whatever, those things are starting to change as well and go over to that way. Down south, it's Florida is extremely active with training. Georgia is starting to get there. And to be very honest with you, I think that's because of the Georgia Tactical Officer Association. GTOA is very, very active in that state, along with, they have partnered up with Gypstick, which is their version of OPATA. And Gypstick has been good at like, okay, yes, we see these, there are better ways out there of doing things. Let's try that and bring people in.
You think a lot of that has to do with just the old dogs getting out, and then
I think it's a mixture of both. Like the old dogs are leaving, the FUDs are leaving, the red shirts, right? Those guys are finally starting to leave. You still have some of that in certain agencies, and even some of the .gov agencies still have the FUDs that are there, the red shirt guys. Sometimes that's just by policy. Oh, you have to have the red shirt on so everybody knows who the instructor is, whatever. But I think, yes, those guys are leaving, but also we can explain things to them, even the old hats, right? And go, okay, show me where what you've done for, let's say, 20 years has worked. Okay, I'll wait. And they don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like, well, back in my time, when was that? When did you do that? And I'll give you an example, right? Like doing CQB, and you see the videos of guys doing this. I'm not telling anything that's not already out there, but like taking the rifle out of the shoulder all the time when you're coming through the door, right? What's everybody say about that? Why are they doing that? Well, it's so to prevent somebody from grabbing your gun. Okay.
That's what we always heard.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm on a text thread group with, I think there's 30 or 35 guys from all over the country, large agencies, small agencies, all over the place. And I asked that question probably 3 months ago. I'm like, okay, we're all SWAT dudes here. We're all trainers. How many times have you seen, you've witnessed, you saw it, not, oh, hey, Tim told me this thing happened like, 1963. Nobody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Like nobody cares. But when you were there, for a fact that your dudes went through the door and a guy grabbed your gun. It was less than 1%. And I'm like, why are we training for less than 1%? Like, how about we just keep the rifle shouldered and get through the door? Or then if we're so worried about it, how about we build a combatives program that fixes that? So if the dude does grab my gun, I have an answer for that, And
barrels have become much shorter compared to rocking an M16. You have an M4 that's almost the same length as a stretched out pistol arm.
Right.
So you could probably keep it shouldered. But,
Yeah, you can keep it short. Even if you like coming in this room, if I had an A1 military old school carry handle thing, I can keep that shouldered and come into this room with no problem.
How would you get your balls through the door, though?
Well, that's a different story, right? Because they'll be clanking, right? You know what I mean? If I'm rocking one of those, right? But so it's things like that. And guys are asking those questions and they're starting to test it. And like, okay, tell me when. When did that happen? Well, I heard from a guy.
Yeah.
When was that? Well,
my cousin cleared houses in Iraq.
Right.
And
Right. And, listen, those guys over there doing that and, in early Iraq time, like they were getting after it. You know what I mean? But some of those dudes were thrown, again, I was not there. I was never in the military. Some of those dudes were thrown in situations that they probably shouldn't have been involved in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But okay.
And clearing a mud house in Iraq is very different than
an active shooter in a school.
Yeah, than an active shooter in a school,
right.
or clearing a dormitory or an apartment complex that's literally just drywall between each apartment.
Yeah,
that's a completely different world. So, okay, shoulder it, do it. I mean, those guys were walking into the building and just spraying before they even walked in the room as well.
Right.
So, that kind of goes into the whole, vetting your instructors as well. What level of training? We were talking about it beforehand. Some area instructors who the only thing they can tell you is 27 years in law enforcement.
Right.
Cool. Good on you.
Right.
I've learned more outside of my 20 some years in law enforcement than I did in law enforcement when it comes to firearms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will even say this, like, I heard this from Matt, and Matt and I have been talking about it back and forth, and we especially started talking about it a couple weeks ago, and I heard him say it again in the class was, in the next probably 2 to 3 years, if you're a firearms instructor and you're not on the practical shooting bus, and I think I've even mentioned this before, you won't be teaching, because there are guys in classes right now that are taking classes that are better than some of these instructors.
Oh yeah, that was inevitable.
Oh,
I mean, it had to have been. I'm sure that happened to you a bunch. I mean, when you're fairly recently got back into practical shooting compared to your whole career.
Yeah.
But I mean,
2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, you've been to classes where you're like,
oh yeah,
let's turn it up, bro.
Right. Well, why are we still running this? Like doing the Groucho walk and all that weird stuff.
Do people in class, do you get any eye rolls anymore? Or do they pretty much know the program? Like that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing competition style drills. Or do you still get people that are like, why the hell are we doing this?
Yeah. A few guys, but then, most of the time it's the proof is in the pudding as soon as we start shooting, right? Just like when we shot there together back in May or whatever, right? When we were there for that class, like, okay, let's start shooting and kind of see how everybody does things. And then we start cleaning up the grip. We start talking about the visual side of it. And then it's very difficult for guys at that point to go, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, explain to me why. And then most of the time they can't. You know what I mean? And then I have another friend of mine, Brandon Bellman. He runs Bellman's Performance out of Columbus. And I usually bring him in for 1-day classes or 2-day classes even. And he was up there at the vehicle class with these guys. And his whole thing is about human performance, but the movement side in shooting, right? Because I tell guys in classes all the time, I'm like, moving with a gun or getting into gunfights and shootings or pulling guns out and running around chasing people, it's an athletic event. So let's treat it like that. Let's treat it like an athletic event. So let's train like an athlete, but with a gun in my hand instead of a football, basketball, whatever it is. And everybody's like, well, that makes a lot of sense. And then Brandon's like, okay, and he starts to nerd out with them a little bit about movement and how to be more efficient. And then you start to see guys go, okay, all right, this makes sense. Every once in a while, I'll get a guy that goes, yeah, but okay, in a match, where all the targets are. I'm like, yep, you're right. And I still miss at times.
Right.
And I still shoot deltas.
Right.
And I'm like, but let me ask you this, like the vast majority of the time that cops get involved in shootings or gunfights, however you want to say that or think about it, right? Don't we know where the bad guy's at? We know where he's at and we're still not hitting them. The hit ratio is still 13 to 20%. So I know where he's at.
Right.
Okay, so tell me how this is working for us, right? So we kind of go through those, and then once you kind of explain it, and again, this has been my experience. Once you explain it in that way, everybody goes, all right, that's hard to argue. I'm like, okay. And I tell guys, I'm like, listen, you don't have to start shooting matches and try to become a GM or M class or A, whatever.
Yeah.
Just start training this way. and build some consistency into your training, like I was down at the Combative Summit a couple of months ago I taught 2 1-hour dry fire sessions, and they were all civilians. There were a few cops there, but most of them were civilians, and it was a great group of people. Had a really good weekend, and talking about using RPE for training, for firearms training. And RPE is big in the workout community, right? Workouts and how you're feeling and whatever, 1 to 10, and you kind of break that all down. And everybody's like, wow, that was a very interesting way to use dry fire training. And I'm like, right, it keeps it moving and it makes it exciting, but also builds consistencies quicker. And then that way you can start to see the results and go, okay, yep, this is where I fell off. I can come back to this. Because dry fire, again, can be extremely boring. Most of the time people want to work on their draw. And I'm like, hey, homie, that's not your problem, right? Like, you don't understand your grip and you don't understand where your eyes need to go and what's happening. I'm like, work on those 2 things first, and then grip will come in, or draw will come in later. So
yeah, and then I know some people are like, I just sit there and point the gun at the TV while I'm watching TV. It's like, well, you're not really doing anything,
right?
Yeah,
either,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not picking out a small spot. You know what I mean, to where to look, and you're not working on specific things. I think the other thing too is a lot of, not so much anymore because people are starting to understand more dry fire, but is some people still look at dry fire and they think, well, I've got to do dry fire for 2 hours. And I'm like, dude, if I did dry fire for 2 hours, you'd be
worse.
Oh my God. Yeah. 10 times worse. Right. I'm like, just start out 5 minutes. Again, I'm not trying to make you a GM shooter or a class. Don't worry about the classes. If you're not going to shoot matches, don't worry about the classification. Just get really good with this thing in my hand. Be better today than you were yesterday. You know what I mean? Because that's what society asks us to do, right? They want us to be good, and they want us to be, okay, 3 times a week, 5 minutes. Work on these 3 different things, and I build programs for people or whatever. And like, here, just do this, try this for a while and see what you think. When you get bored or you get really good at that, call me back and I'll show you something else, so.
Seems doable.
It is extremely doable. It's just, most people want to call it motivation. Well, I need the motivation. No, actually you don't. You need the discipline. You need the discipline.
Yeah.
Motivation is waning, right? I can be motivated to do all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, my motivation only lasts 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want someone to shoot me first. That's a huge motivation for me.
Yeah.
So that's what I use.
Yes. Yeah. That should be a big one.
That's a good point. I don't want to die.
Yeah. I don't want to get killed in the streets.
Yeah, exactly.
I think about that too with like our job. Like, I think people forget about why they're actually there.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh
it's like, I don't want to die. I don't want my partner to die. I don't want the person in the house to die. But it's like, I'd rather just sit here and eat. Fuck it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of guys in law enforcement too, they're there for that blue paycheck. You know what I mean? It's a great job. They're making really good money. They know they're going to get a retirement. They've got good bennies right now. So it's like,
they got a hashtag LEO in their Instagram bio.
Right.
I get guys that are constantly, with my position, why are you going to so much firearms training? I don't want to die.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know why. I'm more baffled that you're asking me that question than you are on what I'm doing.
There you are protecting a bunch of, young adults.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm like, kind of my own first responder waiting for backup agencies to come. I'm like, I want to be the best person.
What a dumb question to ask.
Dude, I get it all the time.
Right.
All the time.
From LEOs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But if somebody goes who doesn't have a law enforcement job, then it's like, well, have fun at your class.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, don't get me wrong. I do. I have a ton of fun at shooting classes. Yeah. I'm also super sore the next day and I'm exhausted and my brain wants to melt, especially at like your stuff, because I took a ton of notes. But again, it all goes back to I don't want to die. I love my family. I want to go home to them when it's all said and done. And I want to go home to them knowing that I did the best that I absolutely could in that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing too, I'll use Ohio as an example, right? Like, probability of getting in a shooting in Ohio is fairly low as a cop. It's fairly low. You go to Arizona, that's different. The average is 5 per officer in a 25-year career.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, they gunfight hard out there. You know what I mean? Go to Florida. It's the same. Like, those guys get into a lot of shootings in Florida. I've been to Florida several times to teach classes, sitting there talking to guys and, you hear guys talk and they're like, oh yeah, man, the last shooting I was in, and it was just a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, how many is that for you? Oh, it's 6 or 7.
Jesus.
Like, if you're in 6 or 7 shootings as a cop in the state of Ohio, they're going to look at you like you've got a third arm growing out of your head. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, what are you doing?
I had a buddy that worked for Mesa, Arizona PD. His first day on FTO, he was in an officer-involved shooting with his training officer. Yeah. First day.
Mm-hmm. Did he stay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know him.
I was going to say, I'll tell you somebody we know, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, it for me, it's almost like a catch-22. You using that statistic because you use that statistic. And to me, a lot of the guys in Ohio are going to go, yeah, see, it hardly ever happens. So I'm going to focus on getting a degree or going to this wellness class or getting
I'm going to go to 55 supervisor classes on how to get better. Hey, bro, I hate to tell you this. You suck as a supervisor.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I'm sitting there going,
fire officer.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas I sit there and go, okay, it happens a very, very little. So guess what? Everybody around me is just as inexperienced as I am.
Yeah.
So I want to go to that training.
But they'll go play the lottery.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, same chance, but they'll play that every week because you never know.
Well, and you never know. And even guys that'll say, well, I don't want to or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, let me ask you this follow-up question then about, the percentage in Ohio is low. And they're like, yeah. And I go, so if it's low and it happens to you today, right now, is that a bad day? Are you prepared for that?
Yeah.
The usual answer is, fuck no, I'm not prepared for that.
Yeah.
Then why aren't you going to more classes?
And it doesn't even seem that low. You guys know I'm an avid viewer of police activity on YouTube.
Right.
I see Cleveland and Columbus
all the time.
Oh
getting
I mean, their probability,
like
they're that high end.
Yes,
it's like looking at a firefighter's pay scale in Ohio. You're like, I don't make anywhere near the top pay.
Right.
Well, you've got those larger agencies that have a higher frequency. But I mean, again, people look in the back of my police car and they're like, what are you
doing, Wallis?
Why do you have a spare plate carrier and an extra soft body armor? Well, I'm not always in full uniform.
Yeah.
And there's other times where I visit other jurisdictions and I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, you got a hot call that really could use all hands.
I got nothing.
I got nothing, fellas, but here's the keys to my car if you need an extra four-door.
This happened years ago, but you guys have probably heard about that. You remember that? I think she was a GM. It was in L.A.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
She was an LAPD cop.
Yeah.
She still is.
She still is.
Yes.
And people gave her so much shit that she wanted to kill people and get in shootouts because she's a GM, right?
Yes, she is a GM.
Yeah. And that was what was it? She didn't get prosecuted, did she?
No,
that's what people were criticizing her. That she wants to get into gunfights.
Right. You go and shoot, and you've done all this and blah blah blah. So it shows that you want to get into shootouts.
Has it ever been used in a prosecution? Like,
I don't believe so.
He just likes shooting so much that
the only time I've heard of or seen something where a prosecutor tries to use is when you've got the Punisher skull on your rifle,
right?
Or you're fucked. Same guy. I think.
It was the same guy.
Yeah,
but I think with that one, I think. And I don't know the storyline, but what I'm remembering is it was like other people in good admin got involved and were like, no, this is all part of training.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is not because she wants to do this. She wants to do that.
She wants to go home.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She wants to win and put people down that need to put down.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. It was a great shooting. And as I recall, it was a guy comes out, he's got a blade. He pulls a blade out, he presents it. She gives him a ton of commands, starts to back away, gives him all kinds of distance.
Mm-hmm.
He turns and starts to come at her. I'm like, yeah. She burned that dude down. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, great shoot. Good job.
And I don't understand why people that don't know anything. Maybe it's because they don't know anything, but it's like, shoot the knife out of their hand. Or they just had a knife. Like, can you imagine getting how much damage you can do with a knife? It is insane.
Yeah, I just watched the video this morning. NYPD guy comes to 73rd precinct, tries to break in the back door. Officer's like, hey, what are you doing? It's a homeless guy. Opens up the door to try to figure it out. And the dude has like a 14-inch butcher knife.
Jesus.
And starts cutting at the officer. And the fight is on immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I tell people when I teach combatives classes or DT, whatever you want to call it, I'm like, if I can touch you with a bent arm, I can either take you down to the ground. I can punch you in the face. I can kick you,
Mhm.
or I can cut you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, which one of those are worse?
Right.
And they're like, well, cutting me. And I'm like, how about if I start doing all of those at the same time
Mhm.
Yeah.
or in succession? They're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Did
I'm
you
like,
what was it? This security guard that got in trouble recently for shooting somebody that was on top of him. He was an armed security.
I vaguely remember the story.
I heard a little bit about that.
And
Yeah.
that's the other thing people don't realize, that once you're about to incapacitate somebody with a gun, then like you have no
Mhm.
choice but to
Right.
shoot the person, because he was shoplifting or something. He didn't interject the gun into the fight, but he started getting punched in the face,
Yeah.
laying on his back, about to go out, and then he
Mhm.
shot the guy. And they're like, "How dare you? Like, you
Yeah.
didn't have a gun." But
Yeah.
I think
You know?
like with the GM that was involved in the shooting and things like that, I think a lot of that used to be just like the Hollywood perception.
Mhm.
You know, the Cowboys and Indians, one bullet, boom, you're dead.
Mhm.
Done. Oh, that guy got shot in the arm with an arrow. He's dead. But I do think slightly in their favor, Hollywood's getting better at showing more realistically, like, hey, this guy got shot in the abdomen and he's actually still able to stand up and fight you.
Mhm.
You know, I think that's where the big misconception is. I think that's also why in our legal system they have grand juries,
Mhm.
so that you can get up and present the facts before anyone's formally charged,
Yeah.
you know, and tell them, you know, based on his training, based on his experience, based on
Yeah, well, I
the
see
trainers that they've brought in.
Yeah, I see these titles of the police activity to be like shot 17 times, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, we all, and I'm sure you remember it. Was the guy outside the Sikh temple up in like Minnesota or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
guy
remember
was
that.
shot like 19 times with an AK.
Damn.
And like within a year was back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I
That's
mean,
wild.
Brian's a great guy.
yeah. Okay.
He's
Yeah.
an awesome guy. He's a friend of mine. Great guy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I love using that storyline when I talk to brand new officers.
Mhm.
Because I'm not a training officer. I don't train them, but I'm a talker and I'm a
Mhm.
nice guy. So they always kind of come and talk to me. I know, right?
It's totally
And we'll-
not true.
What?
Yeah.
And
I was just going to say both those things are true, but you're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
The hell with you.
Yeah. I'll talk to him and I remind him of things like that. I'm like,
Mhm.
it's that mentality. You know,
Mhm.
you can't have that bang you're dead mentality.
Mhm.
And, you know, you have to be able to show that to people. You have to be able to tell them. There was one in Mansfield years ago that they talked about when I was in the academy. Mansfield officer on one of the little side streets, on one of the one-way streets, guys charging him with a knife. Family members, he's already attacked several family members. He's chasing, the officer's backpedaling by himself. No other officers are there yet. He shoots and kills the guy. Person in the grand jury looked at him and said, "Why didn't you shoot the knife out of his hand? You didn't have to kill him,
In
right?"
real life.
Mhm.
They actually said that in real
Mhm.
life.
100% real life. So like we sit back and go, who would be dumb enough? So they, and you know, luckily at that time, the prosecutor, you know, was like, okay, here's what we're going to show you. I'm going to let him demonstrate. And they actually let like somebody charge at someone else and said, okay, keep your finger pointed at where he has the knife the entire time.
Mhm.
It's absurd.
And and you know, he had to explain behind him was like 10 people and cars and houses. And he's like, I literally shot for the largest part there. And it was his chest.
And I think the other thing too is like most people have not been involved in, and I think this is a good thing. Most people have not been involved in any level of violence, right? They've never been, and I'll even say violence of being pushed. You know what I mean? Like aggressively pushed. Like somebody comes up to you and like checks you and like, I'm about to kick your fucking ass.
Mhm.
Like most people have not had that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Kids don't, not that I'm advocating for juvenile violence,
Mhm.
but kids don't get punched in the face anymore.
No,
right.
no.
They don't.
Weren't you talking about that on Guys Night podcast?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
beating each other with boxing gloves.
That's right. Oh yeah,
You know?
absolutely. I mean, I was there. I watched this happen. The track coach showed up and had two big bags because he was tired of these two dudes that were I mean, it was out of control. It was bad. He shows up with these two big bags, like that look like they should be full of hockey gear, and one's got boxing gloves in it, and the other one's got headgear. And he's like, "You two Muldoons are going to put this on, and they're going to go at it." And that was now again, that's early '90s, but you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
they did. And they didn't. He told him, he's like, you have two choices. If you decide not to do this, you're both off the team. He because I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Or you're going to duke it out and then you're going to figure it out. And guess what? They threw down, had a good time, shook hands like men afterwards. And everything after that was great.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, I was just, and I've told that story several times and people are like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, it fixes problems.
That's just how guys are, or at least
That's
should
right.
be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's generational as well.
Yes.
I can
for
remember
sure,
stuff
dude.
like that happen. I can remember my father-in-law is a retired teacher, and he's like, gone are the days of even teachers interjecting.
Oh, no.
You know, he's like, he tells a story, and every time he tells it, my wife's always like, I can't believe you did this. Couple kids from the city school showed up at his, which it's not a preppy school, but it was more higher income school. And they just started duking it out in the parking lot with this kid, because apparently this kid looked at some kid's girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. My father-in-law apparently just walked out, like literally just started screaming at them, what are you doing? Get away from here. And like just started shoving them apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't do that. I can remember my art teacher in high school was also the defensive line coach and a wrestling coach.
Mm-hmm.
Two kids just started wailing on each other in the hallway. He went out and grabbed them both by the scruff of the neck and drug them into the office.
Yep.
You know, people are so adverse to getting involved in any manner whatsoever.
Well, it's because there's no consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to these kids. You know what I mean? Like, how many videos have you seen where a teacher has actually stood up to one of these, you know,
and they get
high school
slapped.
kids and they get slapped?
Yeah.
Guys are doing it. Girls are doing it. And I'm like, yeah, I couldn't be a teacher.
Yeah.
No.
As soon as the kid stepped up to me, I'd be like, nope. And I'm dumping him.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you're getting in trouble for that. I'm like,
You just won't be a teacher
Yeah.
anymore.
I'm like,
That-
okay.
That's
That same teacher, after I had since left, had, again, kind of a similar situation. Kids were wailing on each other, and he went in and interjected, and one of the kids took a swing at him, and all he did was a little shove.
Yeah.
And again, this guy was fantastic,
Right.
super sweet guy, just gave a shove to get him apart, and the teachers lost their mind. Now, he did not get in trouble, nothing
Right.
like that, but it was just the fact of, you know, I think people in that school district at least noticed that shift in, you know, it was no longer, hey, the teacher interjected, good for him for keeping everybody safe. It was, I can't believe he touched that child.
Yeah, dude, it's not just schools too. Like look at the latest one in Chicago where that girl got burnt,
Yeah.
dumped gasoline on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
On the train.
do not want to step in anymore
Nope.
because they do not want, because they will be prosecuted.
Well,
they will go to
look.
prison for stepping in. Like
New-
Daniel Penny, New
Yes,
York.
I was going to
Yes.
say New York.
Yeah.
Well, he did the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at what happened there in North Carolina
with the girl.
with the girl where the guy
stabbed her in the neck.
stabs her. You watch the video. There are people literally sitting right beside her.
Yeah. And it's
Just looked at
obvious
it.
that she's bleeding out.
Yeah. Did nothing. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now go back to when I was a first police officer, we had a hostage situation at our high school. And we get there, and by the time, and now mind you, it was balls to the wall. We got from where we were to where the school was and in that classroom in 3.5 minutes. Like to this
Dang, were
day,
you out front?
Yeah.
I was actually eating a bowl of chili in the squad room.
Nice.
And that from what they tell me, I literally just dropped. Like they had to come in later and clean up because chili went everywhere.
Damn it, Don.
Yeah, not again.
Not again.
Right.
Third
But we
time
get
this
there,
month.
they've got him on the ground. The one teacher who is now an administrator, and like I would love it if this guy was an admin at my kid's school. He was just the vice principal. The kid had a 14-inch like Rambo hunting knife, super sharp. Took a slash, kind of cut him a little bit, but it was sharp enough that it just went straight through his shirt like butter.
Nice.
Cut him in the abdomen. They got him on the ground, did all this. I asked him later. I was like, man, why? You guys had nothing. You had no weapons or nothing. He looked me right in the eye and he goes, because wife, I think at the time he had 2 kids. He looked at me and he goes, if I stood there and watched him murder that girl in front of me, he's like, there is absolutely no way I could show my face at home.
Damn.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
He goes, I went from fearing for my safety to if that was one of my kids
Yeah.
and they just watched it happen.
I'm not saying there's nobody like that anymore, but it seems less and less. Like,
For sure.
know,
Yeah.
Well, because you have so much of that cancel culture and people showing up and having no idea what's going on. And they're just like, oh, I got paid $250. Okay. I'll go protest this event.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, scream in your face and scream shame and all this other stuff. It's like, all right, man, this is not
and this
good.
one,
Yeah, it's unfortunate we can't look out for each other
and
anymore.
this was 20 years ago. Like I talk to kids that are attending that school now, and I'm like, you guys realize this happened back then? They're like, what? No, we had no idea.
Right.
Yeah. That's why you have a school resource officer in your building now. I'm like, I did that for 6 months right after that happened. Oh, I had no, yeah, it happens.
Yep.
But it kind of goes back to that, the small percentages of, you ask people, hey, has there ever been an active aggressor in any of the schools in our area? And they're probably like, oh, no. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. I put handcuffs on the kid and helped prosecute him. I can tell you the year it happened. But again, it's that, like playing the lottery. Well, okay, if the percentages are so small, why are you playing the lottery? Well, because you never know.
Yeah.
Well, I talk about it, with stuff like that is like Paducah, Kentucky. Like you can't pick that on a map. Nobody really knows where it is, but they had an active shooter there 15 years ago or whatever it was. So you're like, oh, okay. I mean, it happens more times than not. I think the other problem too is like people have become kind of numb to it because it's happening so often. Yeah. They're kind of like, oh, it's another day.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like there was a school shooting the day Charlie Kirk got shot.
Yes. Yeah. In Colorado.
And that obviously didn't make the news as much.
No.
I'm sure in Colorado it was a big deal. But.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too with the news media, that one, it was overshadowed by a national event. But at the same time, news wants to get ratings. It really doesn't get ratings anymore unless it's a Sandy Hook level event, unless it's a Parkland level event where you can look at that and go, okay, how many wrong things happen? Who can we blame? Why is this newsworthy? If it's something minor, or if it's an active aggressor that's stopped before they can hurt anyone, that hardly makes a blip because you're not going to get
a lot.
It does, but you're not going to get the ratings from that.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know how big it would have been, the one that I dealt with. I mean, back then it was 2007. Facebook was still in its infancy. I think I still had a MySpace page. Yeah, I know, right? You did. My cover song, it was awesome. Yeah. Click on things and it was Homer Simpson. Yeah. But, if social media had been what it was, probably more people would know about it and would remember it.
Right.
But, that kind of goes back to that, the sensationalism of it. And are we getting numb to it? Is the general public starting to have more of a law enforcement mentality? And I don't mean that law enforcement's numb to it, but law enforcement sees it so much more that whether or not we deal with it in healthy ways, we still deal with it more. Military and law enforcement, fire and I mean, my sister's a nurse and she's got just as dark of a sense of humor as I do. You have to. You have to, but then you get people that overhear conversations, when you're on a dead body call or something, they overhear those, oh my goodness, how insensitive of them. Well, I'm not going to say it to their mom. Right. I'm like, that's why we're saying it in hushed tones when no one's around, because we would lose our mind if we didn't.
Right.
Yeah. It's a coping mechanism.
100%. 100%. Whether it's healthy or not is another story, but it's what we do.
It gets us through the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I want to kind of roll back. You were talking about Brandon. It is Brandon, right? Bellman. Yeah. Yep. So, couple things I really liked about him being part of the class. One, I've been to a lot of firearms training. I've never seen anyone pull in somebody that's got a physical fitness, physical therapy, not only background, but he's got his freaking PhD, right?
Yeah, he's a doctor. He hates when I say that.
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah,
doctor.
Yes.
He's got that level, but it's not like he sits back and he's, drinking his latte and watching us all do the work. He's standing on the line next to us doing all the shooting drills.
Yeah.
And then he's telling us, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I see to help you do this. Not only the movement, but we also went over some really cool vision drills on how to exercise and strengthen your vision for when you're doing those transitions.
Yeah.
I really, really like that part of it. Again, not just because he was teaching us and sharing information, but he was out there doing every single drill with us. He wasn't there. I can't remember if he wasn't there for the HRVE class. I don't think he was there at all for that one.
No.
For the vehicle one, because there was just so much more information.
Yes.
But the other one-day classes that I went to, he was definitely there for.
Yeah.
And again, it's a half hour or so block of no shooting. But again, it was good stuff. I didn't hear anybody like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm having to do this." Like it was good information. It was good material. And again, that's not anything I've seen any other instructors bring to a class. Is something like that. So I guess my question is, how did you get connected with Brandon? How did you get that and start thinking about putting that as a piece of shooting and firearms instruction?
Yeah, we Brandon and I met last year, probably January timeframe. Yeah, so this past January, so it's been almost a year, and I'd been following him on IG, vice versa with him, and he was like, "Well, hey, I'm in Westerville, so if he works out of this one gym, he's like, if you ever need anything, like, help, and you got bad hips, back, whatever, he's like, dude, come over, I'll give you a free consultation, blah blah blah." So then I hit him up, and I was like, "Hey, I've got questions about movement." Because at first I was like, "Tell me about yourself. Who are you? What's up?" So he gives me kind of a little bio or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, well, I've got questions about moving, like how to move more efficiently with this gun stuff." And he's like, "I'm kind of interested in that." So then we sat and talked for probably almost 2 hours, and he is looking to do kind of the same thing as the In Extremis Performance guys out of Texas. Have you guys heard about those guys? So look them up on IG. Phenomenal guys. Like they're really, really good dudes. Jake is the owner of that company. They're out of Texas, and their main thing is all about you moving more efficiently with a gun in your hand and while you're shooting. They do a really good job of it. And this is where Brandon wants to go as well. And so, I hooked him up with Jake from In Extremis. They've been on a couple phone calls together. They've talked a few times. And then I said, "Well, hey, like I'm going to run some classes in March, April timeframe, 1-day classes. Would you like to come in and kind of like teach a block on movement?" And he's like, "Oh, okay. Like you don't mind?" I go, "No." I go, "That's your expertise. That's not my expertise. I will help you shoot the gun more gooder. You'll help them run more faster. Just wear new shoes because you always run faster in new shoes, right?
Everybody knows
Go
that.
faster, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
Jump
I may
higher.
not run fast, but I run faster than normal.
Right. Well, it's because you're a grizzly bear quick, right?
That's true. Yes.
20 feet after that, it's a wrap.
I'm
but
done.
anyway, yeah. But so that's kind of how it started. And he came to a couple classes, and we had some good conversations after those classes of like, okay, how should I teach this? I'm like, okay, you talk to me and teach me this stuff. And then how do we put that in firearms training terms or cop terms or however you want to put that? And he's like, okay. So then we just kind of went back and forth. And now he's even running classes on Saturdays in Westerville, and they're free, right? So it's a workout. So you do a workout and then you do dry fire, and 90% of it is movement with dry fire.
Cool.
And then you do this other workout. And I think there's like 3 phases. So you'll do the workout, you do dry fire, you do another piece of the workout, dry fire, and then workout and dry fire again. And it's probably, I think it's 45 minutes to an hour, and it's all free. You show up with your stuff and he's running it. And, he asked, and he's just a great guy. Brandon's an awesome dude. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I teach if I do some dry fire stuff?" And I'm like, "No, no, like it's not like I own it. You know what I mean? Like, go forth and prosper."
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
not intellectual property.
No, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, go. I mean, if you have questions, call me, and he does. And we talk, probably every other week or every week depending on what's going on. And he's doing great. He's getting out there to some agencies. He's got some agencies in the Columbus, Ohio area that he's starting to work with and do some things with. And
that's cool.
Yeah. So we're trying to do some bigger stuff next year and add more of his block to the classes. And it's really good.
Yeah. And that also leads. So I did listen to the full Iron Sight podcast.
Oh, okay.
That was a good episode.
Yeah,
I
that
do
was
like
good.
I do like your podcast tours you've been doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. I appreciate it.
Getting famous.
Yes. Well, you guys started this actually. So
welcome home.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
One of the things that I've noticed too is compared to a lot of the other instructors I've been to, you're not afraid to like bring other people in.
No.
So like what you were talking about on the Iron Sight one and was it was the martial arts conference consortium, whatever you were at.
Combative one. Yes.
And how you were like, I'm teaching this section and this other guy's teaching this section. And we started talking and we're like, oh, wait a minute.
Make them kiss.
You know, why should we, you know, let's do this as a team rather than, oh, no, this is all me. Because and we've talked about these instructors before, how it is almost like they have an intellectual property that they're trying to sell. They're trying to sell a scheme.
Yes.
And I like the fact of, again, I've been training with you since I started the agency. So 4 years this week. Hey. So I've been training with you for 4 years. I'm always, not only am I picking up something new, I'm picking up something new because you're teaching something new. And it's, you know, you're not afraid to say, hey, up until like 2018, 2019, I was still, you know, front sight focused. And then I met this person and they showed me this and they said why. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Right.
And so that's always been the big one that I've picked up is like bringing Brandon in, you know, who I'm sure other people are doing it. Like you said, the in extremis guys down in Texas and things like that. But it's
Brandon
like
Powers. That
100%.
That's his,
the same thing.
That's his thing. He's got that background and that. But what I'm getting at is for me, what I see is you're not afraid to be like, that's not my wheelhouse.
100%.
You know, that's not my jam.
Yeah.
You only have so much computing power. You know what I mean? You
100%.
can't, like, you might as well get some help and make it better for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, he's a doctor.
Yes.
I'm not.
Right. Exactly. Like, why would I, you know, I guess the way that I look at this, right, is like, and we'll use Brandon as the example. Like, I could go and do all this training with Brandon and let's say a week, bring it back and be like, this is mine. To me, that's dumb. Like, I can't answer certain questions.
Yeah. And for the student, aren't you providing such a better experience? Like, here's a doctor.
Yes.
He knows how to move.
Right. This is his jam.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a question about how to move more efficiently? Ask that dude.
Yeah.
And I'll stand there and go, all right, let me do this with you. Because that's some new shit.
You don't want to start the class. I'd be like, I talked to my friend who is a doctor. And they're going to be like, I have YouTube too, bro.
Right.
Like,
Well, because I could YouTube this crap. You know what I mean?
But I've also seen guys that are like, oh, I've gone to this instructor every summer for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Cool. What did you learn new?
Right.
Well, I got faster and I got a patch.
Right.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I went to the same class. I got a different patch.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Why am I going to pay money to go back to that person if I'm just learning the same stuff again?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it goes back to that intellectual property of I'm selling you my scheme. I'm not building on your skill set. Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing, like back to the combative summit, you know, because it was Mark Smith was the other instructor, great guy, JBS company is I think that's what he's under. I apologize, Mark, if that's not it. But he's a great guy. And, you know, we went out to dinner the night before and we were kind of talking and we were talking that morning because we weren't teaching until after lunch. And it was like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I'm going to do this and off draws and, you know, and using the timer. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, you going to use the timer? I go, no, you're using a timer. So you go do that. Like, I don't want to have 2 timers running at the same time. It's going to mess people up.
Yeah.
You know, even though we were like opposite ends of this massive outdoor dojo, the overhang area that we were in, but even my group, we could hear them. Like we could hear the timer going. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to use a timer. I go, I'm going to work on grip and vision. We're going to do this for an hour, but my main thing is going to be RPE. And he's like, oh, okay. So then we just kind of brought everybody together.
What does RPE stand for again? Is
rate of perceived exertion.
I know that's perceived something. Okay.
Yes, rate of
I'm
perceived.
glad you asked because I didn't want to look dumb.
Yes.
I thought it was like reps per exercise.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
That is another way to say it, but it's completely fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to guess.
Say it all you want. It's wrong.
It sounded good in my head.
It did. Yes, it was. Yes. But yeah, rate of perceived exertion. So how hard am I working in that workout? You know what I mean? So
it's a 10.
It's a 10, right? It is, you know, so yeah. But you can use that like on a scale of 1 to 10. And that's what I was talking about of how to use this. You know what I mean? Like when I'm going to use that portion, we'll talk about that class, right? Like, okay, if I'm going to be at a 1, right? A 1 for me in dry fire is like the warm up, right? Like, so how hard are you going at a warm up when you're getting ready to work out? I'm not going super hard because I'm warming up.
Yeah.
So that's a 1. And everybody's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, when I'm drawing my gun, because we were drawing from concealment, and I'm like, okay, I'm just getting the gun in my hand, but everything is perfect. My grip is on, my shirt grab is perfect. I'm getting the gun up, sight lands. I pick the spot, it lands. I'm like, I do that for 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever your warm up time is. And then I'm like, okay, then I'm going to bounce to probably like a 4 or 5 time frame. So that means, okay, I've put, let's say we're bench pressing because that's what all the bros want to talk about.
Hell yeah, bro.
Right. You see what I'm saying? I throw the 45s on. So I got 135 on there. Now I'm really, okay, now I'm going to start moving a little bit of weight and nothing is out of balance. Like the bar is not going to get wonky or anything like that. But I'm still now starting to move a little bit of weight, right? That's like 4 or 5, whatever. And then as I go up into those numbers, I start to lose, like at a 10, let's say RPE for dry fire, like things that can happen
Your
is
form goes to shit.
form goes to shit, right? So imagine that as like I'm doing a 300-pound bench press and it's a PR for me. You know, my form's not going to be as good, but I'm going to try to keep it locked in. But I may bend that rule a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I can bend the rules and kind of play with it, but I don't break the rules. Because if I break a rule of trying to do a PR and with 300 pounds on a bar, what normally happens? I get fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, but in the dry fire world, I'm using that 10. That's where the speed comes in and my grip is off and the gun may sit a little bit higher in my hand. The dot doesn't end exactly where it is, but it's off a little bit. Now I can start to perceive of what's happening in my dry fire training. I'm like, okay, nope. All right. I'm falling off on this, and we'll pick one thing. Let's say my grip is always jacked up. Okay. So now I come back and I go, let's say when I went to an 8, my grip was on. Okay. Come back to an 8. And then I build that consistency.
Yeah.
And what I found is I use this, Matt uses it. My buddy Josh Eldridge uses it. He and I shoot together and train together a bunch. What we're seeing is, and talking to Matt as well, is like it's building this consistency. And now it's easier for me to, like, when I go to a 10, I'm like, my grip's on. Fuck, I'm here. Now I can go look at this and go, oh, my vision is off because I wasn't looking at the 1-inch piece of tape or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, I was punching the gun instead of pushing the gun and letting it land. And then I can start to perceive everything else that's going on. Does that make sense?
How do you teach that to new shooters? Like, you already know what your max is and how fast you're going. When somebody is just starting on a timer, they're 10 out of 10 every time. Right. When you're like, you have 3 seconds to complete this. Like, take your time. They're like, okay, cool. Fuck. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So what I do is I just tell people, let's not use timers at all.
Yeah.
Like right now, you don't need a timer. You need to build consistency. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, all right. So just start drawing and get warmed up. They start warming up. Okay. All right. Let's go a little bit faster, but still keep the grip. And the vision is still there 95% of the time. They're like, okay. I'm like, all right. They do that for a couple of minutes. I'm like, all right, I want you to go as fast as you possibly can, like getting the gun out and just rip that gun and come out of that holster. And I'm like, and they see what's happening. I'm like, okay, that's your 10 right now today. Okay. So let's talk about, don't move. Don't take the gun out of your hand. Don't do anything. Okay. Let's look at the grip. Where is that? How is the grip? And most people are like, my grip was shit. Okay. That's cool. So that's 1. Okay. So explain to me, when you say the grip is shit, what does that mean? Well, okay, I wasn't high up into the tang, or my support hand was very sloppy. It was almost like teacup. Okay. So now let's fix that. And then I'm like, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about the visual piece yet. Let's just work on the grip side. And then once they get that down, I'm like, okay, let's back that down a little bit and let's go back to a 4 or 5. Okay. Build that consistency. Now let's start to build it back up. And then once they go back to a 10 and it's on, I'm like, okay, now you just built consistency and efficiency. Oh, perfect. Now let's move back to the visual side. So that's what I'll do with newer people and kind of explain it to them that way. And that's what I did down there at Combative Summit. Because again, I was there. I think there were 80. I'd have to ask John Valentine, I think, because he's the guy that runs it. I think there was 85 to 90 people at this event. So we just split them up. You know, I had an hour and Mark had the other hour, and then we just flip-flopped. And it was cool too in doing it that way, because now, like, you guys, let's say you were with me for the hour. Well, now the next hour, like, you can go over and train with a totally different guy who's saying it in different ways. You know what I mean? And what we found was like, oh, some people really like, oh, this is really good. I got 2 different styles saying essentially the same information, but maybe just a slight twist, and that's what Scott and I were talking about on the Iron Sight podcast of like, yeah, this is really cool, and some guys would walk away, they'd go listen to Mark and they'd come back over to me, or vice versa. They'd hear what I was saying and like, oh, they'd go back to Mark or whatever. I think that was a really good way for us to do that with those people. So it was a great event. Like it's,
where was that at again?
So it's in Gulfport, Mississippi, and it's very heavily based on jiu-jitsu, and what they're trying to do is add in more of a combative side of things. So they're putting blades in, they're putting guns in, and they're doing some striking stuff as well. But it's predominantly based around Brazilian jiu-jitsu or jiu-jitsu. So, and it was good. They had some great instructors there as well. Mark and I were there, like I said, and then Craig Douglas was there from ShivWorks. He was there. He did a couple different sessions with people.
His stuff's crazy to watch.
Yeah, his stuff is pretty wild. You know what I mean? And he started off kind of talking about like not letting people get inside that personal touch distance space. So that was really cool. There were a lot of other guys there that were doing fantastic stuff. I just forgot his name. I apologize. That he was doing some vehicle extraction stuff for guys, because there were several police officers there. There was a cop there from Germany. There was a guy there from Mexico. There was a guy there from the UK. He was Irish, but he was from the UK. He's in the military over there. So he had a very thick Irish accent, which I can usually pick up. But I was like, I have no idea what this dude's saying. I'm like, bro, it sounded like a mouthful of marbles. You know what I mean? Yeah. Good dude. But yeah, it was very interesting. We had a lot of fun down there. So
cool, man.
Yeah, it's a good event. It's going to be back down there in Gulfport again next year. I don't remember the dates, but I think they've got the website is about to be launched again. So yeah, and they'll be talking. They'll put up who the instructors are going to be and all that type of stuff. So great event if you can go to it if you're interested in stuff like that, especially if you're worried about that close distance space of you're trying to draw your gun.
Where all the bad stuff happens.
Yeah. So it was interesting. And then Tom Kyer was there. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Tom Kyer.
I don't think so.
Tom is what they call a Tuhan in Kali, in the Kali world, which is a Filipino martial art. He's a Tuhan. So he's the grandmaster. We would say grandmaster, right? They call him Tuhans. And he runs a group under a SIOC Kali called SIOC Training Group, STG. And he was there talking about some blade stuff as well. And yeah, Tom's got a lot of really good experiences. Great dude. I took a class with him this past spring over in Kokomo, Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. We did a couple of days and it was all blade stuff with those guys, learning about how they do things and their blocks and how they cut and their mentality about things. It's very interesting stuff if you guys are interested. So
do they get into like anatomy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they get into the anatomy of it and where they're placing the blade and why.
This will kill kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, and I wasn't there because I left on Saturday from the combative summit and I missed Tom's piece, but he made a comment. Apparently, it was like he pulled out a training blade and he's like, "This is the equalizer to Brazilian jiu-jitsu." And I was like, and I heard this later on. I was like, he's not wrong, man. Because the thing with a gun, like I pull a gun out, like I need to like turn it to make it lethal. A blade, I can just start twisting my wrist and pull it around, and it's going to cut you. Yeah. And so his stuff is really, really good. Like they talk a lot about anatomy and why and how they carry blades and where they cut. And there's some really, really cool stuff with those dudes. Tom's a great guy, really good instructor. And he had some other guys there that were good.
I'd love to I took a knife class way back in the day. It was back when Greg Ellifritz was at his peak.
Oh yeah.
He had his fixed blade class. I took that.
Don't let him hear you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah. But I enjoyed that class. I would like to take more.
Yeah.
Because,
I would like to keep them
on me. Yeah. But again, it's that thing of every agency I've been at, that's been the weird one. Like, hey, I want to take a knife class. Why? Why do you want to?
Right.
Why? That's
Yeah. To me, that's one of those things like agency wise, you don't even bring it up. You just go take the class.
Yeah. And that's one of that I'm just going to have to find when I go on my own.
Just go and go do that or whatever. And I know Tom's talking about coming back to Kokomo again coming up this next spring. So he'll be back for a 2-day class, and he's got a bunch of his other instructors there as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like, even if you're a newbie, I didn't know anything about Sayat Kali. I literally knew nothing. I'm like, and I went with my buddy Jim. He's like, let's go to this class. And we had a great time. Spent the weekend over there, went out to dinner and had a few beers and kind of talked about training and stuff.
You've been doing a lot of networking this last year, I'd say, right?
Yeah. Lots of networking, kind of hooking up with different, guys in different branches of things, I guess, if you will, and just kind of trying to build the network, and see who needs what or what guys are looking for.
Do you get a lot of like Instagram DMs or like emails
Yeah, lots of IG stuff because we do have the website. So we get a lot of emails. My wife gets the emails. Not that I don't see them, I do, but she sees them first. And then so we're getting people reaching out and asking about stuff and trainings. Hey, do we do this or we do that? And I tell guys, I'm like, hey, I don't like sniper stuff. I'm like, I'm not a sniper. I wouldn't pretend to be a sniper. I mean, I can shoot a bolt action rifle at long distance, but I'm not going to teach you how to do it. So, but I'll point you to the dudes if you want that. You know what I mean? So I keep it pretty simple with mine. It's pistol carbine classes, active shooter for cops, the vehicle class for law enforcement, CQB, stuff like that for law enforcement. I have a combatives class that I do for law enforcement, specifically for SWAT teams, but you can use it as a patrol guy as well. And I've done that as usually as a 2-hour class, and we've done it as long as an 8-hour class, specifically for SWAT teams. So that's really where I stay with everything. And then the networking to me is like, hey, I don't know this, let's say blade stuff. But you want to know more about that? Hold on, let me call this dude. Hey man, this guy's interested in hosting this class.
Yeah, you got a whole
right. I've got that whole network of people that I can hook others up with. You know what I mean? Or hey, the guy lives in Idaho or something. And he's like, hey, I can't get to you. Who should I go to? Mike Pannone. Mike Pannone's right there. Like, why would you not go to that guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, go to Mike, here's his website, go to him, get in contact with him, and go forth and prosper. So yeah, I think the networking thing is a big deal.
Yeah. And it seems crucial. I like the way you're doing it where you're, everybody wins kind of thing instead of just being like, I'm going to carve out my piece right here.
Right.
Everybody come to me.
No.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. I think guys that do that are not successful very long.
No, right.
And it also turns into, well, I'm the king of this castle and I know all. Like, I don't know everything. Like even in the shooting world, I'm like, again, I reach out to certain people. I'm like, hey, in my training and my adventure or down that path, like, hey, I did this. This is what I'm seeing. This is how I want to correct that. Is that right? Or is this a path I should not go down? And everybody's like, the guys I'll talk to, oh no, yep, we've done that. Don't do that. Fix it this way. Or no, hey, that's good. I'm glad you're seeing that now. So that means that's telling me that you're training hard. So,
and I think some of those guys too, part of the problem is that's their full-time job.
Yeah,
that's the only income they have coming in is what they've got carved out. Right. So they've got to get that ownership of it.
Yeah.
Which I can see how that can be difficult.
Yeah.
If that's your only source of income, but like you were saying, everybody wins.
Yes.
So it's like, it's almost like you got to force some of those guys to get that out of that mentality and be like, hey, if I'm pushing people your way, guess what you're probably going to do for me? You're going to push people my way.
Right.
And it's that give and take, not a competition.
Well, and even like going back to the vehicle stuff, right? Like Mike Pannone does a vehicle class. And I've told you, you heard me say this in class, like, hey, there's other dudes out there that run vehicle classes. Go take this. Like, and I push people to Mike. I'm like, go take his class, go take somebody else's class. Like, I don't have all the answers. Like, this class isn't solving everything, and Mike and I have talked a couple different times about what his class is, what my class is. Somewhat different, because he's looking at it for a certain way or whatever. And I'm like, cool, dude, I'm not covering that. So if people want that, I'll be like, no, I don't do that. Go talk to Mike. Mike does that.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a better way because there's enough out there training wise, and there's enough people out there that want the training. Like, there's enough food for us out there to eat. Right. So just go do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's just a better way.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So
we know how people can get.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. How's things been with you guys? You guys doing well? Everything going well? How's the podcast going?
It's good. As you can see, we got more cameras. That's what I've been working on.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Got to work on some cord management, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Got freaking cords everywhere.
Yeah, that's all right. That happens.
Yeah, man.
Let's drill some holes, drop ceiling. Just
Right.
easy peasy.
Yeah. Good.
We need to get a shelf in here for people to like. Sometimes people will bring us weird stuff, and we just kind of like set it in the corner,
Sit it on the floor.
or like
Right.
a patch board or something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
You get some Velcro, put it
Coat
up on the
hangers.
walls.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Coat hangers.
What?
That'd be weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
For like hanging
It's
up
not
a
that
coat?
kind of show.
Yeah.
Oh, for hanging up a coat. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
What are you talking
I
about?
don't know. Nothing.
I can't even fathom where your brain went on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
What are
Okay.
you guys going to do for next year? You guys going to try to do training classes? What are you wanting? What are you looking for?
Yeah. We got to get, dude. It's been weird. The landscape's weird. It's almost like like 2000. It's like 2014 for concealed carry, where everybody wants to take it, but nobody wants to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
The permitless carry just killed everything.
Yeah. Crushed everybody.
But
Right.
I feel like it might be coming back a little bit.
We have a lot more interest. Like a lot of people ask about it.
I think
It's more for the training aspect than it is a certificate.
Yeah. I've had quite a few people, like friends, that have come to me and been like, hey, I know I don't need to get it, but I've got it. My son has it. You know, we want to know what we're doing with it.
Right.
My whole problem is I don't have anywhere to take them.
Oh,
You know,
right,
so
right.
it's like trying to get that space
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
able to take them somewhat locally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. You're right. It's weird. There's a lot of talk about people
And I
wanting
don't know
to
if
do.
it's because of all this craziness in the world. And
That has a
people are
lot
like,
to do with it.
I think
I
so.
would say so.
I need to learn how to use a gun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during the George Floyd riots, everybody was like, I need a concealed carry to protect my home. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
no, you don't, but come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
And we were talking about setting up a introduction to competition pistol shooting,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
like a 4-hour class
Yeah.
that Scott's probably going to lead for us. So
Nice.
he would be good for that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I think,
And
I think we're gonna
we're going to
hit
have you back,
Okay.
we're gonna hit it
Yep.
hard.
Yeah. Good.
hopefully a carbine class.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I'm
that'll be
hoping
fun.
to get into the competition stuff this spring.
Heck
So
yeah, dude.
I need some local people to push me and remind me, and
We all need to shoot a match.
and shame
Yeah,
me
we need to
into
get back.
going.
Yeah.
Because I want to, because I do learn a lot from that piece of it. You know, I get from a lot of people are like, you know, hey, what do I need to learn? Hey, you know, get the basics, but then you have to remember you're not just going to be standing still.
Right.
Watch every video known to man. We always joke about it when we see the retreating build. Why do you need to do a retreating build drill? Well, here, let me take 4 seconds on Google to show you
Yeah.
why.
Right.
Here's
Yeah.
the dozen in the last month.
And is that
where
just
cops
like,
just been doing that?
is that just like human nature to run backwards while you shoot? Like, I see it all the time for law enforcement shootings.
Yeah. I think it's not wanting to turn your back to the threat.
Yeah.
Right. Because we've all been taught that. Don't turn your back to the threat. You got to stay facing, you know what I mean? And again, most of those depending on proximity of where you are. Most of the time it's I'm in an interview and I'm talking to you or I'm trying to de-escalate, my favorite word, right? De-escalate everything to the nth degree. But you're just there and it's like, the gun's got to come out now. So people don't like to turn and run and shoot one-handed. You know what I mean? It's not as efficient for them. So
Yeah.
I think just getting them used to that. And that's, you know, we talk about it in all the shooting classes and even the vehicle class. I'm like, okay, here we go. Now you're going to get used to doing this. And guys are not used to doing it. And then that's why you see officers fall because they've never done it, you know, because all they were ever allowed to do was stand static and not move. Right. Now I'm like, no, okay, you're going to do this. And we did that in that last class you did, right?
100%.
We did a ton of that. And then let them run back and get even farther, then have to run forward and really push the envelope with guys. So
Yeah. And I think one of the things you mentioned in all your classes is, you know, human nature is to run backwards. Well, if my human nature is to run backwards, the suspect's human nature is to watch me run backwards and think that. So instead of we have to get that out of our head. We kind of have to fight human nature a little bit. You know, it's like the fight or flight. You know, you have to push past the
Well, it's
freeze.
weird because you're fighting and flying at the same time.
Yeah, you are.
You're-
But there's the purpose aspect of it. What's my purpose is I'm getting to the rear of the vehicle. I'm putting something between me and him. And like you talked about in the class of Josh and how his agency ran through how many people taking that class. And they're like, statistically, by just doing this class, if we did this, people were getting hit. If we did this, nobody got hit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, which one would you choose?
Right.
I want to do this one where nobody got hit.
Yeah.
Kind of like another thing I like is when you run through things like explaining the why, okay, which is faster, me drawing then moving or me moving and drawing? Here, let's see it. Because everybody's always like, oh, it's going to be this. So there's a lot of those aspects. A lot of it is just pushing past that, your human nature of that fleeing,
it's
that
also
flight.
it's really hard to talk shit about people that I've never been in that situation too. So it's just something I noticed. Well, you brought it up, the retreating bill drill.
Yeah.
But it's also, there's a difference between talking shit when you've never done it, which is the whole getting killed in the streets. And hey, I've watched all these videos and I've seen all these interactions. You've taught this many classes. Josh taught this many people in these scenarios is very different. Maybe you haven't been in an officer involved shooting where you've had to do this, but you've done just about everything up until that point. And it's like, it's kind of one of those weird things where it's like, I really hope that I retire and die really, really old, having never had to kill anybody.
Yeah.
That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But then it's like, but wait a minute, then I won't be a competent instructor.
Yeah. Well, I look at it as like, if I can, when I'm 90 sitting on my porch, right. And I can look back at all of this stuff, all the training stuff or whatever, and go, that was a good time.
Yeah.
I lived a good life.
Yeah.
Okay. Then to me, it was worth it. You know what I mean? And other people survived, and, we kept more guys, and, guys didn't get killed, or, they won their gunfight, they won their incident, whatever it was, so that's my thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Good buddy of mine that's since retired, about once a week, he'll be like, man, I look back and think I didn't do anything in my career. And I'm like, but you went every day ready to do something. You didn't go every day to get that paycheck.
Right.
He went ready to get, and the thing is, I know the guy, he has been involved in some things, I'm like, there's news sources that you can Google him and find out that but in his mind, he's like, I didn't ever do anything.
Right.
It's like in the military. I didn't do anything in the military.
Right.
Well, I went. Yeah. I signed up.
Right.
At the ripe age of 32.
Right. Yeah, you did all that stuff.
And did it.
Yeah.
My dad's the same. My dad was the same way. My dad didn't want to take a VA loan. I'm like, Dad, you did 9 years in the Air Force. Well, yeah, it was during Vietnam. Of course, he goes, but I didn't do anything in Vietnam, so I don't feel that I should take the VA loan. Oh, trust me, I've pushed him past that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was his mentality, because he's like, I had friends that were killed in Vietnam, and I feel it's a disservice for me to take a benefit they can't. And I'm like, okay, let's sit down and talk about this, Dad.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, if I can make it that long, and I can look back on everything, and I did everything that I could. I was ready to go if need be. I didn't have to, but I was ready for it. And I did everything I could to prepare myself and prepare my friends, prepare my coworkers. It's up to them if they don't want to, except for the vehicle class, the 1 day classes, that was money out of my own pocket.
Right.
And so it's like, guys don't want to do that. Well, okay, that's on you. I put the information out there. What you want to do with it is what you want to do with it. But if I can make it to a ripe old age, sitting on the front porch with my wife and my grandkids and my kids, that's preferred.
Yeah. It's a good life.
It is.
A good life.
But does that mean I can't be a competent instructor?
No.
Yeah.
Again, I think the other thing too is not, if you're going to be an instructor, not sitting on your laurels and, well, I've done this same thing for the last 5 years and it's not going to change because I know it's successful, but how are you becoming a better instructor? Again, going back to when we talked there half an hour, 45 minutes ago about, next couple of years, I'm telling you, there are dudes out there that are training hard. When we were in this class there a couple of weeks ago, CQB class with Matt, there were some guys in that class that were hammers. They were shooting extremely well in the 2 days that we were on the range. And it was like, oh, okay. And so then what you saw was everybody in the class had to step up their game. And other guys that are out there teaching are seeing that in their classes, just their pistol or carbine classes. And they're like, hey, dude, you got to keep training.
Mhm.
Like you can't sit back because if you're going to very quickly get past,
Mm.
and it can happen overnight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you sit back for, 2 months too long, 3 months too long, whatever that time frame is. And then you step back out and you're like, oh, okay, well, I took the winter off. You know what I mean? Fuck it. I don't do anything all winter. I don't do any dry fire. I don't go to an indoor range and shoot. I don't do any of this. And then spring comes and I go teach a class and wherever it's like,
I fucked up.
I fucked up. Exactly. Like, and again, there are guys out there that are not necessarily shooting matches, right? But they're training hard. I'm glad they're not shooting matches because these dudes would be crushing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they would be hammering guys. But I've seen them in classes and you're like, well, it's good. This dude is a shooter,
Mhm.
But it's just like, going back to you talking about shooting a match. Like Josh and I tell people all the time, like, hey, if you want to go to shoot a match, let's go shoot a match, but don't bring your feelings. It's like, it's rough in our squad. Like we don't bring feelings. We mess with each other, but we're having a good time. Because, the one thing with cops wanting to shoot matches, they're like, they don't want to be embarrassed. You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
So I'm like, hey, let's, hey, you guys come, you guys fire guys, we got cops together, that's going to be
Oh yeah.
hours of jokes. You know what I mean? Like
I have no problem being embarrassed.
Right. But, and I tell guys if it's like, and I would tell Don this, like, hey, it's your first match. Here's what I want you to do. Don't flag anybody.
Yeah.
That's it. Just don't flag anybody.
Don't get kicked off the range.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't get the 180 rule. Cool.
That really is like the best time when you're not the guy. Like we saw dudes in like the coolest gear you could fucking have
Yeah,
get
yeah.
DQ'd, and we're
yeah.
oh, cool,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Go home now.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Fucking poser.
You're right. Yeah. And it happens to everybody.
Oh, for
It happens to
for
everybody.
sure.
And it's okay. Like it happens. You know what I mean?
I just selfishly felt better about that. I'm like,
Oh,
all right,
fuck yeah.
I might have had a lot of mics, but at least I didn't fucking get kicked out.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm good.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen guys show up, like you said, with all the Gucci stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. And then you see the guy shoot and you're like,
Mm.
gotcha.
That's where the money went.
Yeah. You spend a ton of money on that and not on ammo just to go train yourself. You know? But yeah, I mean, again, Josh and I tell people all the time, like, hey, let's go shoot a match. Like I'll go wherever. If I got a free weekend, like, okay, let's go. I'll go shoot and we have a good time and let's go break each other's balls a little bit and shoot 150 rounds of ammo in a couple hours. Like,
Yep.
been
Yeah.
a good time. I spent $25 to have a good time with shooting with my friends. It's a great day.
And I think the value is probably worth it because they set up the course for you and tear it down. I mean, that alone and your time is worth that.
Well, when you even like most of the places I go to shoot matches, like we help tear down.
Yeah.
We carry everything over. It's done. You're like,
yeah, but if you don't feel like being a nice guy one day and you just want to get in and get out, you know, you totally could.
And
do
they'll
that.
tell you that. Yeah, they'll be like, hey, if you don't feel like tearing down, that's cool. Next time, just tear down.
Yeah.
but,
Asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good. As you're driving away, everybody's giving you the finger, right?
Yeah.
It shows you so much so fast at the match. You're just like, okay, I've got
definitely humbling.
Oh, it's extremely humbling. I mean, everybody has those stories of like, oh, I did not see that coming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then getting to watch some of even in the local matches, some of the guys that are hammers in your area, like, ooh, okay, I want to be able to do that.
Yep.
Mhm.
And again, not even worrying about, well, what's my classification? Nobody gives a fuck.
Yep.
Like, just go shoot, have a good time.
Yep.
Get better the next time. That's what it's all about.
I just want to go watch the SIG Nationals. They have at Cardinal right down the road.
Oh,
What's
yeah,
the one they have right down the road
Yeah,
where it's
it's
like
Cardinal. Yes.
Yeah. Like I just want to go watch
I went
that
there.
one of these
I went
days
there
and
to
just
watch.
hang out.
Oh, yeah.
I went there to watch a couple years ago with JJ and what's his name? The SIG guy was the SIG guy.
Oh, Max Michelle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Saw them. Everybody
Yeah.
else was just there to shoot and stuff. And
Yeah.
me and Andy and Scott were like,
Let's watch these dudes.
what's up?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, watching JJ shoot or any of those dudes, you're just like, wow, okay,
Mhm.
this is a totally different level.
It
for
almost
these dudes.
looks like they were not doing anything.
Right.
Like they'd cut so much bullshit out of the process
Yes.
that it was like,
Yeah. And it's like
oh,
20
I thought it was
minutes
going to
from
be
here.
like,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah. You thought they were going to be doing all this wild,
Yeah.
crazy shit, right?
but they
Like,
just cut down all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
yeah. But it took them so much time to figure that stuff out. Of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, cut the fat. Don't need that anymore. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And that's really where it's at. And again, it goes back to discipline. It's not about
Mhm.
motivation.
Yeah.
Motivation wanes.
Mhm.
I can be motivated for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes max. And I'm like, no, that was a good time. Let's move on.
Yep.
But if for me to come in and do dry fire, it's like, fuck, I have this whole room downstairs. Okay. I got targets all over the place. Okay. I'm an asshole if I don't. Okay. I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's how I feel about like going to the gym. It's like when I really don't want to go is when I'm like, all right, it's time to go.
yeah, it's when you have your biggest breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just like martial arts training. I do the same thing. I go to class and I'm like, I did not want to drive over here today to go do this. And holy shit, this was the best class that I've been to. You know what I mean? I learned all of these different things, you know, so I get it. Yeah, man. Definitely. Let's go shoot a match this summer.
Are you
Don't be a little bitch.
are you still shooting
I'm a big bitch.
as much?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Don was talking.
Yes.
Somebody turn his mic down a
Right.
little bit.
Yes.
Are you still shooting USPA as much now that you're instructing a bunch?
So I did not shoot as much as I wanted to this year. Just the way things were working out with classes and the weekend or whatever. I did not shoot as much as I want to. That was on me. It was my decision. Just a lot of other stuff going on with my family or whatever. And but next year I'm going to lean back into things and really get back into matches a lot. And then try to pair that with training side of the house and kind of see how that works out. You know what I mean? So yeah. But I'm still dry firing. I'm still doing all my training and all that good stuff. And it was funny too. Like I hadn't shot a match. Like I didn't shoot a match for, I think it was 2 months. Maybe I didn't shoot a match, but I was still dry firing. I'm like, well, let's see how this shit show goes. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be the guy whipping, magazines across the range when I'm trying to reload. I didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
I was still shooting A-class runs, on classifiers and stuff. And I was like, okay, all right. So it kind of proved a point to me of like, all right, if I'm still dry firing training, I can still keep to this level.
Yeah.
Now there were little things that I was missing. Like I wasn't coming in, low on Y and I was, doing the lean or something stupid or drop stepping when I shouldn't have been. And those little things I kind of misstepped.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't.
As far as gun handling, you were good to go.
I was still right there.
Yeah.
Still all right there. Cause I continuously do that. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. It's definitely fun. We'll go shoot.
Don, pick the day.
Yeah.
Dude, if you go out to
March
Crawford,
15th.
I'll go with you.
Go to where?
Go out to Crawford County. I'll
Crawford's
go with
a
you.
good time. They run some great matches out of Crawford. They're really good
It's
matches.
the only place we know.
Yeah.
I mean, we could set you up at Fire Ridge too if you want to get some
Yeah, we could do
cobwebs
some.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you can go down, what is it, 20 or 30 minutes down to
Cardinal. Down to Cardinal.
Down to Cardinal, shoot there on the weekends. I mean, they run good matches. That's a good time down there.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You pick the day.
We're back.
March 15th.
Match 15.
There's got to be a match.
Is there a match?
I have no idea.
No, I'm just saying. You find a match you can go to. And
Okay.
Well,
and
I'm
we'll
pretty
come
sure
to
the
it.
matches that aren't at when there's not a match at Crawford, there's a match at
At
Cardinal.
Cardinal.
Yes.
They kind of
Yeah.
alternate.
You can
Okay.
you can shoot every weekend in Ohio,
Yeah.
starting at about mid to late March,
Nice.
all the way through till November. I mean, there's a match this Sunday down at PCSI in Circleville.
Yeah,
Nice.
dude.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little too soon. But
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Well, we got to wrap up because Tim's got to go to work.
Yeah, I got to go.
Oh,
to work.
that's dumb.
All right.
yeah.
Just stupid
Listen,
fireman
the
stuff.
best thing you got
Yeah,
to
you
do
work
is just
5
retire.
days a month.
Not him.
Not this month.
Yeah.
It's Christmas, bro. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
You need that money.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's why I work all that special
Dude, we work
special
like
duty.
8 days a month.
Yeah.
9. Something like that.
9's on a big day.
My bad.
Yes, right.
8.
Yeah.
I think I got like 6 overtimes this month.
Ooh.
He's just being
That's gross.
selfish. And
Yeah, that's okay. You got to buy that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I got
Lots
it.
of stuff.
I got
I
it.
told the boys whatever they want for Christmas, they're going to get.
Oh,
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
wow. Good
Well, I
times.
appreciate you guys
Yeah, man,
for
for
a
sure.
third year
Fun
in a
time.
row.
It's been
Yeah.
fun, like always.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a good time. Good conversation.
Anything
Yes.
you want to shout out before we bounce?
If you need training or want training, give me a call. Get a hold of me. Just find me on IG. Mowery, or go to MoweryTacticalConcepts.com. I will have classes.
Dustin
link
Mowery 337.
Yep, Dustin Mowery 337 on IG.
I'll
Make
link
sure
the-
to-
I'll link
make
all
sure to
that
link
stuff.
you up.
Yeah. Reach out and we'll do some classes. I got some stuff in the works right now. Nothing. I only have one thing on the books. That's in March, but I have to move that because I'm doing some other training. So
Yeah. Cool. And if anybody
no
just
problem.
wants like stupid memes and pictures of my kids,
We'll link you too, Don.
Hershey McChocolate.
yes,
What?
right, yes.
I'll link Don too. So
Yeah, good.
all right, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Later.
All right.
All right.
Have a good one.
Later.